Here we go, guys. Something completely new. Welcome to the North-South Connection YouTube. If this gets transferred anywhere else, you'll find us northsouthconnectionpodcast.com. So here we're gonna do something different. WrestleMania is right around the corner. It's we've got another 40 days or so before we get to be disappointed again, like we do most years. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I'm coming off the Elimination Chamber, which I was there live for, so I got feelings, I'm a real human. But what I wanted to do was, this is all a new venture for us here. So with the YouTube stuff and the videos. So I've seen a couple people do these. I've never seen this done particularly. I'm sure it exists. I don't think I'm some sort of a trailblazer or anything, or a maverick, if you will. But we're gonna do a WrestleMania main event tier system, right? We're on the tier maker, and I got all the WrestleMania main events down there, and we're gonna put them in the categories. We're gonna tier them out, see if it makes sense to you. If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know. Scream at me, whatever. Like, follow, subscribe, North South Connection on YouTube. All right, let's give it a go. I kind of randomized them as best I could. I never understood the S at the top of the tiers. I'm guessing it's super. A, B, C, D, and we got some Fs. So we'll take it from there. So right off the bat, we got a nice, fun one here. It's the Iron Man match, which JT and I recently dealt with on No Holds Barred. We're ranking all the WWF title changes. So this is the Iron Man match, WrestleMania 12, between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. I don't hate the match. I don't love the match. So I'm going to put that at a C. I don't think it's bad per se, but I think there's a lot of things they could have done better with it. We've talked ad nauseum about how it maybe shouldn't have been an Iron Man match. Maybe they should have just gone an hour, or something to that degree. But look, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are incredible performers, and it's a shame that this is what we got delivered, right? So that's going to start there with a C. Where am I next? So I got, oh my goodness, WrestleMania 27, not even on purpose. So The Miz coming in as champ, defending against John Cena when all the heat was with The Rock. So what are we going to do with this one? Well, this one, my friends, is going right down to F. I think this is a terrible main event. I don't think it's a horrible match. I just think with all the pieces they had at WrestleMania 27, they could have given us something a little more compelling. I don't hate The Miz, but when you hear CM Punk talk about how like that was his year as opposed to Miz, he's probably right. He's a hotter character at the time. And then we get this match where they don't want to take the belt off Miz. So they have Rock come in and do some bullshit. And then we get a count out win. So I just think all around, like WrestleMania 27 is not a great event in my eyes. Remember, this is all opinion, right? You might love 27 and you're valid for loving it. But for me, it's one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. And on that note, let's deal with, I'm wearing a Sid Justice shirt, and Psycho Sid versus The Undertaker from WrestleMania 13. Again, we covered this recently on No Holds Barred. Again, one of the worst matches, one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. I'm putting it an F with Miz and Cena. I just think that it's way too long. Like, come on. Like, The Undertaker's dead and barely moves. And Sid. And I love Sid, but I'm saying Sid and Sid, right? So when the best parts of your match are when Bret Hart comes out and gets power bombed and beaten up and Michaels laughs, that's the best part of the match. Or Sid screaming, "God damn it!" When he can't win. That's why it goes in F. And I think it's a fair place for it. So here's an interesting one. WrestleMania 1. Hulk Hogan and Mr. T against Rowdy Piper and Paul, Mr. Wonderful Orndorff. I'm going to go B for this one. I mean, look, I don't think the match itself is anything crazy or amazing or, anything like that, but it's fun. It's a super fun tag team match. It's a really good performance from a celebrity. Mega heat for Roddy Piper. Paul Orndorff, mega heat also, and Hulk Hogan. I mean, come on. At this point, he could kind of do no wrong. I had an argument with someone recently, not an argument, a discussion about how would WrestleMania have worked with anyone other than Piper? I think probably, but not as well. And then we factor in all the other pomp and circumstance with everything that's going on at that WrestleMania, and it all climaxes in this match. I think it's worthy of a B. But it's a really fun watch. And again, it's not a classic, but it's hard to watch it and not smile. You get to see Muhammad Ali in good shape, right? Next, WrestleMania 14. We're dealing with Shawn Michaels in his full DX mode, defending against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Iron Mike Tyson is the ref. Well, not the ref, the outside enforcer. He was part of DX. So this is a really important match. I think it's a very good match. I think there's a lot of places you could put it. Some people have this as disappointing. I think these guys do an excellent job of gutting out a really tough situation. The match, I think, is great on its own. Michaels is legit as he's ever been as a main eventer. And the match really plays to Stone Cold's limitations, let's say, but in a good way. I don't mean limitations in a bad way, but in a good way, because they work around the injuries that he's suffering with. And I think that all in all, they did a great job. I'm going A tier with this one. I mean, it's also super important in that it launches. I know the Attitude Era technically probably starts earlier, but this really launches the Attitude Era into the stratosphere. And it's based on the heat of this match. Now, near the end of the Attitude Era, we're dealing with a McMahon in every single corner. So you get Triple H defending the WWF Championship. He's got Stephanie in his corner against The Rock, who's got Vince, against Big Show, who's got Shane, and against Mick Foley, who's got Linda. Right. So they all got a McMahon. It's a clusterfuck. It's 40 minutes long. And until you get down to Triple H and Rock, there's really not anything really going on. Foley probably should have gone out. I mean, I look, I don't begrudge the dude getting a payday. No way, after what he put his body through. But if I'm looking at it in terms of quality, this is probably better if it's just Rock and Triple H, because you get rid of the other two so fast. So it's a tough position, right? But I think it's actually quite a failure as a match, because not that the heel wins. That's fine. I think it's different and interesting, and it's the first time, so that's okay. But it's more that they go out there and there's too many slow moments with four guys. So I'm going to go D. I don't think it's a complete failure. It's interesting enough. You know, maybe this match is looked on better if there were more singles matches on the rest of the card, right? So if like the rest of the card had singles, instead of the only singles match on that card is the Cat and Terry, right? So I think they do, you know, if that's the only thing, it probably stands out a bit differently. It probably hits a bit differently. But that's where I'm at with it. I think a D. Here's another one that's a bit tricky. Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, WrestleMania 9 for 1993. And then you factor in the Hogan coming in at the end. So I'm going to put this at a D with the WrestleMania 2000 main event. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think it's a bad decision. I mean, look how brown Hulk Hogan is. Like, he's even past orange at this point. He's been out in the sun way, way too long. The pantomime on the outside of the ring is so stupid. Bret being like, go get him, go get him. Well, you know, Hogan, you're going to help me out. So that whole thing I don't like. But the match with Bret and Yokozuna is really good. I really like that match. I love the story it tells. And like it or not, the moment where Hogan wins, the pop is pretty crazy. It was shocking. It was different. So I think D. I think D is fair for that. This is Triple H and Chris Jericho from WrestleMania 18. Again, I'm going to go D because, again, it's not like it's a garbage match, right? It's just one of the things I'm thinking about in this is, should these matches have been the main event? And all the ones we've talked about so far, 100% on their given show should have been the main event. This obviously shouldn't, when you have Rock and Hogan tearing the place up, right? And again, maybe we look at it differently if it's a bit earlier in the show. But they have a real life hot angle in that Triple H comes back from injury. Jericho technically is the one who injured him. I know he didn't injure him, but you could easily make that case. Easily make that case based on the footage. Instead of leaning into that, what they do instead is they make it about his dog and about Stephanie and about killing a dog. And look, I've done stand-up comedy a bunch. Like, I'm not good, but whenever I mention dead dogs, the whole room gets quiet. No one wants to talk about dead or injured dogs. I don't know why. I mean, we're happy to kill other animals, but God forbid a dog gets run over by a car and then backed over. You know, everybody gets angry. all that to be said, it's too long for what it is. It's the Triple H curse. He just can't read the room in these main events. I mean, like, if a dude kills your dog, like they made a whole movie franchise about Keanu Reeves getting his dog killed and rampaging. Triple H gets his dog maimed, which in some cases is worse than death. And you got to take care of a fucking handicapped dog. And I don't mean handicapped in a bad way. I just can't think of what the word is, right? But the dog is limping. You got extra things to do. Maybe you got to take the leg off. Lock up with Chris Jericho. D. WrestleMania 11. Bam, Bam, Bigelow against LT. So again, it's not like there's not we talked about how maybe Jericho Triple H shouldn't have been the main event, but there's a precedent here, right? Like they kind of already did it with Bam Bam and LT. So I think LT shines. I think Bam Bam's a really good opponent. I think WrestleMania 11 is one of those ones you could really move around a lot of pieces and potentially come up with something much more interesting as a whole on the card. But I think in terms of what they set out to do, I thought they really delivered here. The quality is not quite there, but it's good. It's a good match. I don't know how much, man, like 95 is like the bottoming out of the company, right? And so because of that, like, when you look at it, can you really say LT made a big difference? I don't know if I should factor that in. I'm gonna go C. I don't think I'd put it ahead of the Iron Man match. I think that's fine and fair. But yeah, it's not that it's bad. It's just it's good. It's just, it's LT. WrestleMania 19. Kurt Angle defending against Brock Lesnar. Now, every single person remembers this match because Brock Lesnar basically almost paralyzes himself with a shooting star press at the end. And then is messed up, scoops him up, F5, pins him, right? And it's kind of a shame that's what this match is remembered for. Because if you watch it back, it's really good. It's really good. I actually think it's a great match. And I have no problem with with that botch, because the reason I have no problem with that botch is because the degree of difficulty is so high, right? Like if you're climbing the ropes, or like if you're Batista at WrestleMania 35 and you're tripping just getting into the ring, that's a botch worthy of ridicule. Brock Lesnar trying a crazy big move off the top rope in his first WrestleMania, you know what? It's okay. It's okay he messed it up. I'm sure his brain doesn't think it's okay. Or maybe he does. He likes the haircut. He's happy as that haircut. So maybe this is a good thing. I think it's a great match. I can't in good conscience. I'm going to put B. I'm going to go B. Again, it's not that I don't think it's great. It's just, it's more, when you look at everything, it feels like a hollow main event, because it's not like it really springboarded Brock the way it should have. Not that Brock is not a big star, but I mean, by mid-year, he's just kind of trading the belt back and forth, and he doesn't feel as special anymore. Maybe it's because they turned him heel again, and they made him weak, and they put him with The Undertaker again. But it didn't really springboard him. I think the match is great. It's my favorite WrestleMania, too. But, I don't know, something missing there. Let's go back a bit. Speaking of something missing, how about good taste? Because the next is Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter from WrestleMania 7. So Vince thought it was a good idea to make Sergeant Slaughter a traitor, burn the Hulkamania. Oh, man, that dastardly Slaughter maggot, when he burnt that Hulkamania shirt. Oh, my God, I was in tears in the audience. But, they had to heat him up. They wanted a big match. And this match, for me, really over-delivers. I think this is a very underrated main event. Slaughter's a great bumper and a really good worker. Hogan is a great worker, Hogan's a great worker, period. But he's a great worker who didn't always have to work great, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But please, I'm going to probably say I have no problem with that a lot. So I hope you'll forgive me. I think the match is very good. I think it caps off a really good WrestleMania. I think it's just a bit below A level, so I'm going to go B. But this is probably, for me, like the highest of the Bs. It was memorable. It's interesting. Let's move on. Let's go. This is an interesting one. So this is the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. I debated with WrestleMania 36, 37, and 38 Do we do one main event being the Sunday night main, or do we do both? I think we're just going to do both. That way no one gets insulted. So Undertaker and AJ Styles, instead of having a match, have a Boneyard match. And I'm going to be totally frank with you. I hate this match. I loathe it. I'm trying to be as positive as I can with most of these, but like I really struggle with this match because it feels like a bad action movie shot poorly, not poorly for wrestling standards, but poorly for movie standards, which is what they're going for. Shot poorly with terrible dialogue and no story. And it's like, if you're gonna do an action movie, you have to do the action movie. You can't, when you do like a cheap ripoff of it, for me, I really have an issue with it. I thought it was overly long. I thought it was overly stupid, but that's me again. So I'm not going to put it in F because people really like it. I'm going to put it in D for me. You might yell at me for this one, but that's okay. It just did not click with me. And I don't know, like, I don't want to remember The Undertaker as the guy who has to do these cinematic matches anymore. Like, he's not a good enough actor, and that's not an insult. He's just not, right? Like, the contrast with this match is the next night they do the Firefly Funhouse, right, with Cena. And that thing, regardless of what you like or dislike about it, what you can't say about it is that they didn't take risk. They took so much risk with that match. It was so weird and different out there, and I loved it as a consequence. And I feel like if that match isn't in the weekend, maybe I don't hate this one as much. I remember really not liking it, watching it live, and then when I saw the Firefly Funhouse, liking it even less. So maybe that's it. It's just the lack of creativity hurts it for me. WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart against Yokozuna. So this is like the year-long apology to Bret Hart. He loses to Owen, my brother Owen, in the at the beginning of the night. Then he comes back at the end, fights Yokozuna, wins the belt. The match is nothing to write home about. In fact, it's really not a great match at all. They're just rushing to get through it. But the moment's amazing. And it really matters when Bret wins. It's this beautiful celebration. So I'm going to put it, I'm torn between C and B. I'm going to leave it in C for now, kind of top of the C, just because the match isn't there. But I love that they go back to Bret, and I love that they give him the belt as like an apology for what they did to him last year, making him just like, all right, you're going to go to the side while Yokozuna is the champion. And the image, the beautiful image of him on everybody's shoulders and Owen in the crowd is absolutely incredible. And that's the kind of thing that should be studied in terms of writing wrestling as to how to set up a near perfect angle. Owen steals a win earlier in the night. Bret wins the belt. And then you have that standoff. And it just sets up the whole summer beautifully. All right, hard one to deal with. Triple threat from WrestleMania 20. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. So it's a 5-star match, I think. Everybody's amazing in it. But I never want to watch it again. And we all know why. I'm going to put it in A. I'm going to throw it there. I'm going to leave it there. I remember the time watching it, like really marking out when Benoit won. I thought it was such a cool moment. And they build the match in such a way that like they go back to their tropes, right? But they go back to their tropes in such a way that you think, okay, this has happened. So, okay, now Benoit is really not winning because this, and this happened, right? And then they reverse it. There's something really beautiful about that. It's just tainted forever. The image of Eddie and Benoit at the end should have been an image that lasted the test of time. Here are two of the hardest workers, the best guys, finally getting their moment. And instead, sadly, all of it's tarnished. So it goes into A. Again, great match, all-time match, but I just can't in good conscience put it higher. Okay, WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns against The Undertaker. If you're going to make a case that Roman Reigns is the greatest of all time, and I think there is a fair enough case based on his recent work to do that, you got to kind of find a way to excuse these early WrestleMania main events. And this is one of them against The Undertaker. I get what they were trying to do. Sometimes less is more, right? And less is more is proven the next night when Roman Reigns goes out into the ring and he looks at the crowd. He just stands there, takes in the boos, and just says, "It's my yard now." Perfect. What we get here instead is a much longer match. It's just the same old tired stuff from Reigns, and Undertaker's just not bringing it for whatever reason. Uh, I'm tempted to put it in an F. I'm not going. I'm going to put it in D, but it's close to an F because WrestleMania 33 is a really good show, and if this has a super strong main event, it's probably way more, uh, even more highly regarded. I will say that the shot of Reigns in the aisle at the end with his arms in the air with the fireworks going off, it's like purple and blue, is probably the best shot in company history. Like it's really beautiful. So yeah. All right, let's do WrestleMania 2 next. Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy cage match. So if I were to star rate this match, I'm probably about 3.5. I think it's a really good blue cage match, a good Hogan cage match. It's got a great story to set it up with Bundy and Hogan, Bundy hurting Hogan. I'm going to put it at a C. Yeah, I mean, if I give me the choice right now, I'd rather watch it than the Iron Man, but that's the length. But I think it's kind of a bit underrated, again, because there's this narrative that Hogan's not good, but he's really good. And he shows it in this match, and the crowd is super hot. WrestleMania 2 is a weird experiment with the cities and the commentators, but the in-ring action you can't really fault, and the angle was hot. And it was really just another step 2 in the Hogan versus Bobby Heenan feud, which was a great feud for most of the 80s, and this is a great piece of it. All right. The Undertaker versus Edge, WrestleMania 24. It's going to be hard with me with these Edge ones because I find, especially the new Edge ones, which we'll get to, but I find Edge is always like, it's just too much. It's too long. There's too much going on. And to be frank, I just don't buy Edge as a threat to the Undertaker. I don't know why. It's the same problem I always had with Jeff Jarrett. Like Jeff Jarrett, maybe it's the moves Edge does, right? But like Jeff Jarrett was always like, his offense was big man offense, but he was small, right? And so it never rang true when he'd wrestle that way and win. And that's kind of how I feel about Edge too. Like he's not a big enough guy to really be like nailing people with spears and this and that. Like he never really found those like snap finishers that really get over. Like that jumping DDT was never that over. His original hold, which was kind of like the stroke, I guess, or it was not super over. So again, I just struggle with the credibility. I think it's a good match. I think it's probably very good. But then it also launches us into like 10 months of Undertaker Edge. So I'm going to throw this in the C also, which again might be blasphemy to some, but if the match quality is just not there for me and I don't like the story, that's where it's going. Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 17. It's going to go in S. It's my favorite of their WrestleMania matches, I think. Not by a lot, but it's my favorite. People are mad at the heel turn, which I get. I just think it was just done in a kind of dumb way. I love the finish, though. I love that Austin can't beat him, so he just bludgeons him with a chair until he stops moving and wins. For me, though, it's like a 4 3/4 star match, which is fine. I mean, I love the match. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's perfect. It wouldn't be my top. We'll get to what my tops are. It's probably going to be the bottom of my tops. But again, there's just something missing from it to like push it up to the next level for me. And maybe that sounds snobbish, but great match. Triple H Batista, WrestleMania 21. No good. It's not bad. I probably have it like 2.5 stars, but it doesn't do what it sets out to do, which is get Batista over as a monster. The argument with Triple H is always like my argument with him is he never puts over anyone. And then you'll hear the response of, well, what about Batista? Well, I mean, I challenge you, go back, listen to Batista's pops from like, say, December 04 until this night. And then listen to his pops for the next 3 months after he's done with Triple H. It's substantially lower because nobody comes out of a feud better than they came in with Triple H. And this match does him no favors. They have to work this long, slow match where really it just should be Batista destroying him. So because of that, I'm going to go D tier near the bottom where it kind of belongs. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Speaking of Triple H, let's do John Cena and Triple H. So WrestleMania. So this year's WrestleMania, which is going to be 39. I was talking to someone, I was talking to my buddy Tim earlier today, and I was telling him that like I've never been so kind of blasé about what the event is. There's nothing coming up that I'm really looking forward to, right? Like I don't care if Cody Rhodes fights Roman. All the matches are like, whatever. There's no big thing. That's exactly how I felt going into WrestleMania 22 in 2006. And lo and behold, it becomes probably one of my most favorite WrestleManias. So maybe it was my expectations. Maybe my expectations are just too high a lot of the time. This is a great main event. It's the first Boo Yay. I'm going to put it in B. I'm going to put it just behind Slaughter and Hogan. Because in the end, Triple H again does Cena no favors. He puts him over, yes, but man, they always have to go toe-to-toe with him, and it's always got to be this giant overcoming. So we're going to leave that there. All right. Triple H, Roman Reigns, 2016 WrestleMania 32. That's an F. It's an F for so many reasons. I mean, look, the match isn't bad, right? It's 26 minutes, I think. It's at the end of like a 7-hour show. It's Stephanie McMahon performing the monologue from Richard III while she's wearing a fucking crown of thorns like she's Jesus Christ. You know, there's just so much going on. And again, does it really help Roman Reigns have a 26-minute match with Triple H, who hasn't been a full-time wrestler for 6 years at this point? I'm okay with the angle of Triple H winning the belt and being a coward about it, but no, he's still the cerebral assassin. He's still the toughest, the funniest, the most Latin. He's all of these things still. And so again, we get to the main event. Crowd is burnt out. They still find the gusto to boo Reigns though. So that's why it's an F. It's going to stay an F. All right, WrestleMania 28, John Cena and The Rock. We're going A-town. Exceeded expectations. I don't think anyone expected them to come out and have a 4-star match. And that's probably the lowest I really ever see this thing. Cool, The Rock won in Miami. Well put together match. Left enough doubt. Launched John Cena into the worst year of his career, where he main evented every single pay-per-view and won most of them. But as a match itself, amazing and so much fun as a fan. Rock came back. It looked like, remember he came back at Survivor Series and it looked like he hadn't missed a step. And then he came into this match and he looked great. Like you could tell he was tired, but he still looked great. The action built to a great crescendo. So yeah, this is a really solid main event. There's not that many that are more important or more impressive considering the participants. Ooh, we're doing WrestleMania 35 next, aren't we? So I was here live for this one. Becky Lynch, so Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey are the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions. And Becky Lynch is going for, well, it's a winner take all. She's in the triple threat. Oh, in the building that night, really cool that like when they came out, the energy was still super high. Again, this was like a 7-hour show, but it didn't feel as long as 32. Joan Jett probably helped singing Bad Reputation, which was really cool. Bringing out Ronda Rousey. I think this is a really good match. I think you got to give it credit for being the first women's match. I'm going to put it in the B tier. I don't think it goes up to the A tier, or I don't think it really belongs in the C. If I was basing it just on work rate, it's probably a C or a D because there's a few too many botches. The pin, especially at the end, is not the best. But it's the first women's match. It's a legitimizing match for everyone. And once they do this first one, it opens up for them to be able to do all the rest of them. And what was great about this is it didn't feel like we're giving the women a main event as a default. We got this as the main event because Becky Lynch, at least in the later half of 2018, was the hottest act in the company. So she's the hottest act in the company. Ronda Rousey's equally as hot. Charlotte Flair is just dominant. So it wasn't a default main event. They deserved it. They delivered as best they could. Long night. I thought they did great. So that's where it goes there. All right. Well, let's do WrestleMania 37. 37? No, 38. My God. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. This is the one where Reigns gets hurt in the match. This is their third WrestleMania main event. They're like 50th main event altogether. I'm gonna go D. again, it's not that it's bad. It's certainly not that it's bad, but it's cut short. It's uninspired. They keep going for it. Yes, it's the unifying match with Reigns, so that's meaningful. But you're going to see with a few of these Lesnar ones, it feels like you could have a great match, but you don't. Instead, you get this, and as a consequence, it hurts, right? Let's deal with the other very disappointing Brock match, and it's going to be an F, and that's Brock against Drew McIntyre from WrestleMania 36. Now, I get there's no fans there. I get they're in a tough spot, but these two guys could have an absolute banger, and they don't. And this is the problem with the Brock matches. I don't mind the finisher spam to a degree, but when it's all you do in the match, it's just so freaking lazy. It's such a lazy, and that's all they do in this match. It's F5, 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 Claymore, and then he eventually pins him. It's just nothing. Like, you can't even fight for 5 minutes. We can't have 5 minutes of a crazy brawl. Instead, we just got to right to the finishers. And I don't know. With no fans there to cheer for that, it just looks stupid. That's why it's a nice big F for me. Not an F, though. The main event of night one of WrestleMania 38, Steve Austin against Kevin Owens. I'm going to go B tier with this. And again, no slight. I think it's so cool to see Austin come back after all these years. I think what they actually do in there is really, it's really great. I mentioned in 14, they worked around Austin's limitations. I think Kevin Owens does an incredible job carrying him here. Austin does his work. I mean, he's taking suplexes on the floor. But they did everything they could. The feud was super hot. Now, if this was just the Kevin Owens, the talking segment, it might even be higher. Because the way they get into the match is so freaking cool. How, like, you feel the tension, and then, like, he's like, I want a match. And then Austin kind of looks at him and you see him thinking. Then they slowly put the chairs out of the ring. It's just so good to see Austin back. I don't need him to come back and be the world champion. I don't even need him back. It's not a thing I thought I needed. But then when I saw it, it's so cool and fun. And great on Kevin Owens for being able to get that spot. All right. WrestleMania 37, Roman Reigns defending the titles against Daniel Bryan and Edge. This is the stack 'em, pin 'em. I think it's a great match. I think it's an inconsequential match, so that's why it's going B tier. But it's a genuinely great match with these three guys. It's just Edge for me will always bring it down a bit. I don't mean to slight it by putting it B tier. I think it's great, but in the end, what did it really give us? It got rid of Daniel Bryan and gave Edge another main event. Let's go WrestleMania 15, Stone Cold Steve Austin against The Rock. I'm going to go A for this one, not S, A. Because while I think the match is probably their weakest of their series, I think it's in many ways kind of the most meaningful. Because, as you can see, I know the pictures are small, but in this picture, this is such an enduring shot of Austin with the 1 foot on Vince with the belt in the air. And so, like, it's like you go through that whole year of McMahon really trying to fuck over Austin, right? He's trying to mess him up. He's trying to take the belt from him. And he does. He succeeds. And then he gives it to his corporate champion, The Rock. And then Austin's got to chase him down. He's got to fight through Vince. And then this is the culmination of all that. And on top of that, they deliver a great match. So I love this match. The show is not great, but it's a really great capper. And it's a great capper to the Vince-Austin feud. If it had ended there, it would still be one of the greatest feuds of all time. It's still, what they do later is great. They do a lot of great stuff together also after. But it never hits quite the same as it did during that year and that period. Which is why I think we need to recognize that main event as being an upper tier one. Triple H, Randy Orton, WrestleMania 25. F. And it's the Triple H thing. It's like the man tried to break your wife's neck. And then while she was laying unconscious, kissed her while you were handcuffed to the ropes. And we get to this thing now where these guys are just wrestling a normal match. It's too long. It doesn't crown Randy Orton, which is fine. I don't actually, that doesn't bother me so much. It's just that but how can you? After you make that, why make that storyline? Like, you're crowning Randy Orton the next month, right? Why do that storyline where he's murdering a woman? Why do we have to do that if we're not actually going to crown him? Do anything else. There's a built-in storyline with these guys. Like Orton was his protege. There's a whole thing they could do. So, and I get they have to give him some like fancy psychotic disease, whatever. He's not a cerebral assassin, but he's the Viper or whatever. So, yeah, I think it just fails on every level. It's too long. It doesn't fit with what the feud is. And it shouldn't have been the main event. Maybe that's hindsight, but it just shouldn't have been. All right. WrestleMania 34, Brock and Roman. Again, Brock and Roman. I'm going to go C with this one. I'm not impressed by it, but it's better than their one where Roman gets hurt. But again, it's just again, Brock and Roman again. And the match is just, like, it'd be one thing if these guys were just like the feud was electric and they delivered match classic after classic after classic. They have one classic for my eyes, and everything else is diminishing returns. Everything else is not as fun. The cage match in Saudi Arabia, they have all the tricks and all this other stuff, and it just never clicks for me in terms of being a great match. Look, great example is Rock Austin. Every time Rock Austin went out in the main event, it's at least a 4-star match. At least. These guys, it's always near the lower end. And again, it's subjective. I get it. But like, if you're going to keep going back to that well, these guys better be delivering top-notch stuff. Because if they're not, what's the point? So that's why it's there. C. We'll do John Cena and The Rock, the rematch next. I'm going to go D for this one. So we talked a bit before about should something be a main event. I don't know if this should have been the main event, maybe not even, because they main evented the year before. But this is for the title. They just wanted Rock to be the champion. They wanted Cena to beat him for the belt. I don't know why. They end Punk's reign to like they make Punk he's the champion for 400 and whatever days. But that whole reign is not about him. It's about we're getting back to Cena and Rock, right? That whole year we're just going back there. And then they go out, and maybe I think this is when Rock got hurt. Maybe that's why they don't shit the bed, but it's not really, it's such a foregone conclusion. Like that was great about the first one in 28 was that you didn't really know who was going to win. I guess in hindsight, it's obvious they're going to put Rock over in Miami. But this one was like, we knew it was happening a mile away. No one wanted that to happen. And coming out of it, nothing exciting was built from it. So D tier, WrestleMania 29. Hulk Hogan versus Sid Justice. WrestleMania 8. Maybe blasphemy. I'm going to go C. People hate this match. They say it's terrible. I don't get it. I like it. I mean, my own druthers, if it was only my taste, I'd probably put it B, just to kind of, just for me. But if you watch this match back, watch the first 5 minutes. It's really amazing. Like the fighting with the music still playing. Hogan's got the shirt. The picture's there. It's like he's got him over the ropes. He's doing the ear cup, and it's such high energy to start. And it really felt, so they had this whole thing with Vince and Hogan beforehand. We're like, well, Hogan, Terry, we didn't call him Terry, but if this is your last match, I would like to thank you on behalf of the World Wrestling Federation. Like he goes into his quiet voice. And so, you know, it might have been his last match. Maybe it's bullshit. Who knows? But if it was his last match, it really felt like they were doing like a Hulk Hogan tribute. Because all of his stuff was there. And then the stuff that Sid was doing, the one-handed chokeslam's amazing. The powerbomb looks great. The beatdown looks great. We can talk till the cows come home about Papa Shango missing the cue. But the Warrior comes back at the end too. So it's a great spectacle. I'm not going to go ahead and say this is a great match. I'd probably have it about 3 stars. My point with it is always that like it's not bad. I don't think it's a bad match. And I think it's an okay main event. I get why they didn't put Savage and Flair in the main event. Because if it was going to be Hogan's last match, it makes sense to have him go on last. All right. WrestleMania 31. Seth Rollins cashes in he stops, I think, the greatest match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Because that match was pure catharsis. So Brock kills John Cena at SummerSlam 14. Kills him. And what worked about that match is it's basically Brock ending or being an avatar for all the people who are so tired of John Cena for the last like 7 years. And this match has that exact same catharsis, but with Roman Reigns. There's this one moment where Reigns kind of has one leg in the ropes. He's standing on the apron, and Brock fucking clotheslines him. It's so visceral and solid. This is where Suplex City comes from. It's an incredible beatdown. The catharsis is there. And you could tell they kept trying to do it because later in the year, they go to Rollins with that catharsis with Brock beating him. And it just doesn't work because people don't hate Rollins the way they hated Reigns. But just a great match start to finish. And then you get the cash in with Rollins, which is an all-time moment. And a good way, a smart way to get the belt off Brock at this point. So I'm going to go S tier for this one. This is a special one. And this is the match. Take Rollins out of it for a minute. This is the match where it's like, okay, but why aren't we getting that at WrestleMania 34? Why aren't we getting that at SummerSlam 2018, which is when they fought? Why aren't we getting that at WrestleMania 38? Like, why can't we get back there? They don't need to have the same match, but these guys are clearly capable of having great matches. Maybe Brock's just not there anymore. I don't know. WrestleMania 23, John Cena defending against Shawn Michaels. Great stuff. I'm going to go B. Really good title defense for John Cena. Kind of a legitimizing match for him too, in that, up to this point, I mean, he beat Triple H the year before, but Shawn Michaels is one of like the legendary guys, right? Triple H isn't quite that legend yet or ever. I mean, he is up here, but different argument. So this was a lot of fun. They did a good enough job teasing that Shawn Michaels could win, even though, again, in retrospect, there's no way he's winning this match. But I think they would outdo themselves with their hour-long match later. But as it stands, this is a great match. Good, solid main event to a really good show. WrestleMania 26, Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker. This is the retirement match. We have no choice but to go S here. S tier for sure. No, I'm going to go A. I'm going to go to the top of the A's because they had to put it on last because of what it was and Michael's retirement. I think it's an all-time great match. It's kind of a testament to like how WrestleMania 26 doesn't have a ton going on. Like if they had a really, and I mean, they had Cena and Batista, but it just wasn't as hot as it was in 2008. So I'm going to go A, top of the A, because when I think back of main events, I always have to remember that this is the main event. This was a WrestleMania 25 match, and that was the main event. It would be an S. For me, this match is a little bit below, even though the stakes are higher. It's more of a foregone conclusion with this one, too. So I think that's where it goes at A. It gave us an all-time moment saying goodbye and whatnot, which was cool. WrestleMania 37. So this is a match. Sasha Banks defending against Bianca Belair. To this day, I still struggle with the Bianca Belair character. I just don't find her interesting. That's me. Sasha Banks, though, is I think they have a really, really good match at WrestleMania 37 in Tampa. I'm going to give it B tier. For me, it's on the verge of a 4-star match. I can move these around a bit. I'd probably put it like right above. No, I'd put the edge. Yeah, it's probably about right. I think it's better than the triple threat from 35. I think it's better than Michaels and as a main event and Cena. So we'll put it there. No disrespect to either one. I think they're both incredibly talented. But I just wish I was into the character more. Only got 5. Man, we got 5 left. Okay, WrestleMania 4. Randy Savage winning the tournament, beating Ted DiBiase. This is a hard one because the match itself is really nothing. It's good, but it's the culmination of the tournament. Now, tournament's long and boring and has too many guys that can't win. But Savage is great in it, and DiBiase is great in it. I'm going to go B. It crowns Savage. It's a fitting end to the tournament. Great moment, great atmosphere. So we're sitting there. All right, WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan winning that triple threat. I'm going to go A for this one. I don't think it's on par. When I look at the matches in the A, right? So I got Michaels, Undertaker. I've got Rock, Cena. I've got the triple threat with Michaels and Benoit and Triple H. So those 3, I think, are all better matches than it. But there's not a better moment in there than Daniel Bryan winning those titles, tapping out Batista, who was supposed to be the guy. So yeah, let's put it there. A great topper to an incredible match. An incredible show. All right, 3 left. Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6. S tier. It's two gods. It's two gods fighting. And it's, often they book themselves into a corner, which is what they did with Sami Zayn at the Elimination Chamber in Montreal in 2023. But in this one, they booked themselves into a corner and then they pulled the trigger. And that's what they did. The match is a masterpiece. I don't give a shit if Pat Patterson planned it backstage, okay? I always hate that knock. Well, Pat Patterson planned the match. Who cares? They had to go out and deliver the match, and they did deliver the match. The crowd was split. The crowd was insane. It deserves to be in the top tier. WrestleMania 5, Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. Guess what? It's also going S. You're probably seeing a nostalgia bias from me, but look, the Mega Powers is the greatest story in company history. Of the matches that in that S category so far, it's the worst one in terms of quality. I still think it's really good. I think it's a 4-star match, which is good for Hogan and Savage in 1989. But it's just the culmination of the best story they've ever done. And it's done well. So here we are. S tier. Only one match left. You know what it is. And you know where it's going. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, S match. You check out a video I did not too long ago as part of the Chronoso project. And I break this match down in terms of why I think it's one of the greatest matches of all time. I'm not going to bore you with it again here. All I will say, I'll just reiterate one point from it, in that if the point of pro wrestling is to engage an audience so that they suspend their disbelief, this is the perfect example of it. If you watch the audience start to finish, they're losing their minds, they're jumping up and down. Like it's a complete disbelief. And I think it still has the best moment in company history too, with Hogan slamming Andre. So that's the list. So there's 41 entries to this thing, right? And of 41, there's 5 in the S and 5 in the F. I think that's pretty fair, pretty spread out. And B's and D's kind of fill it out. I think this is fair. This is my first crack at it. You tell me what you think. If you like this kind of content, let us know at the North-South Connection. We're always trying new things, trying to just kind of see what works in the medium, right? So let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm stupid. Tell me I'm great. Don't tell me I'm great. But seriously, thank you so much for watching. If you stuck through it, make your own list and share it with us. And we'll talk to you soon. I'm Aaron. See you soon.